Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're tackling peptide supplements. You've probably seen them all over social media, right? They promise these miracle results. But what's the real story? Is this a genuine scientific breakthrough, or is it just really good marketing? Let's dig in and find out.
All right, so first up, let's talk about the promise. What are these products actually claiming they can do for you? I mean, if you're on social media at all, you've definitely seen these ads, and some of the claims, they're pretty wild.
Okay, here's a big one. You'll often see them mention Nobel Prize-winning research. This is such a classic marketing tactic, right? It immediately makes the product sound super official and backed by serious science, even when, the actual connection is, well, let's just say it's a bit of a stretch.
And then there's this claim that these peptides are somehow special. The story goes that they're small molecule peptides, so tiny that they can just sneak past your entire digestive system. They supposedly get absorbed whole and go straight to work, exactly where you need them. Sounds amazing, doesn't it?
And what about the benefits they're promising? It's almost magical. They talk about protecting the very core of your cells, your DNA, and fighting aging by zapping free radicals. I mean, who wouldn't want that? It's basically the fountain of youth, but in a supplement bottle.
So you've got all this complicated sciencey language on one hand and these incredible miracle-level promises on the other. It's designed to be confusing. So what we're going to do is cut right through all that noise. Let's get to the bottom of what's real and what's just really slick marketing.
Okay, so how do we figure this out? Well, to see if any of these claims actually hold up, you only need to understand one simple, fundamental rule about how your body works. Seriously, this one rule is the key to unpacking everything.
But before we get to the rule, let's just quickly define our terms. What is a peptide anyway? Don't let the name intimidate you. It's really just a small chain of amino acids. And you can think of amino acids as the tiny basic building blocks that your body uses to construct every single protein it needs.
Okay, let's use an analogy here. Imagine you take one of these peptide supplements. Think of that supplement as a fully built, really cool Lego model. Now, when you eat it, your digestive system has one job, and one job only. It's a demolition crew. It takes that awesome Lego model and just smashes it to pieces, breaking it all the way down into individual Lego bricks. Those bricks are the amino acids.
And this right here is the absolute most important part. Your body does not absorb the cool, special Lego model you just paid for. No, it only absorbs the individual bricks. Then, your body looks at its own instruction manual, your DNA, and uses those bricks to build whatever it needs at that moment. Maybe it's a new car, maybe it's a house, maybe a spaceship. You get the idea. It might be for muscle repair or an enzyme or literally anything else.
Okay, so now that we have our one simple rule down, you absorb the bricks, not the model, let's go back and take another look at those big marketing claims. It's time to put them to the test.
So, that first claim, peptides are absorbed directly, 100%, with no digestion needed, well, that just completely falls apart, doesn't it? In a healthy person, your gut digests peptides. I mean, that's its whole job. In fact, you wouldn't want foreign proteins just wandering into your bloodstream. That's a great way to trigger a pretty nasty immune response. And what about the claim that these peptides go right to work repairing cells? The idea that the collagen peptide you eat is going to magically travel straight to your face and fix wrinkles. I'm sorry, but that's just a fantasy. Your body takes the amino acid bricks from that collagen, and it uses them for whatever it thinks is most important. And that might be repairing a muscle you worked out yesterday, not smoothing your skin. But wait, what about the clinical studies? This is a huge one, right? Marketers just love to point to scientific proof. So let's actually do that. Let's take a look at a really popular study for something called bitter melon peptide, which claims it can lower blood sugar. We're going to use an analysis from Professor Lin to break this down. So when you actually look at the study, oh boy, Professor Lin points out some major problems. First off, a huge conflict of interest. The study was funded by the company that makes the stuff. And get this, the lead author was their own R&D director. Plus, there were no real controls. The participants just kept taking their normal prescription drugs. And the craziest part? Some of the lab values they reported for the control group were literally biologically impossible. Just not something you'd ever see in a human. And here are the results. After all that, what did they find? The average blood sugar level, the HbA1c, dropped from 7.8% to 7.4%. I mean, that's it. Not only is that a tiny change that doesn't mean much clinically, but 7.4% is still solidly in the diabetic range. A normal level is way down below 5.7%.
So, okay, after hearing all this, you might be thinking, is it just impossible for any oral peptide to work? And the answer is, well, not quite. There is one exception, but this exception is so amazing it actually proves our rule even more strongly.
Let me introduce you to Ribelsis. This is a real, FDA-approved oral peptide drug for diabetes. This isn't a supplement from a health food store. This is a big-time pharmaceutical, and it took scientists the better part of a century of incredibly difficult research to finally make it work.
And how did they make it work? Well, to get any effect at all, they had to pack the pill version with 50 to 100 times more of the active ingredient than what's in the injectable version of the exact same drug.
So why so much? Why 100 times more? Because even after all that amazing science, all that molecular engineering to protect the drug and add special chemicals to help it absorb, even after all that, only about 1 to 2% of it actually survives the digestive system and gets into the bloodstream. Just 1 to 2%.
And that's the key right there. If it takes that level of scientific firepower, 100 years of research, 100 times the dose, just to get 1% of a peptide absorbed, what are the chances that a simple, unregulated supplement can just waltz in and achieve 100% absorption? It just doesn't add up, does it?
So, what's the big takeaway here? We wanted to give you a kind of critical thinking toolkit, a set of tools you can use to spot this kind of pseudoscience for yourself. And this doesn't just apply to peptides, by the way. You can use this for pretty much any health product you see advertised.
So, based on Professor Lin's work, here are the big red flags you should look out for. First, those vague mentions of Nobel Prize research. Second, any claim about direct absorption or bypassing digestion. Third, look where the info's coming from. Is it a real science journal or some sensational content farm? And finally, always be skeptical of studies funded by the companies selling the product, or any research that doesn't have proper controls or real doctors involved.
At the end of the day, that one simple rule of digestion we talked about, that your body breaks things down into basic building blocks, it's an incredibly powerful tool for critical thinking. It applies to any protein or peptide you might eat. So the next time you scroll past an ad with some fantastic health claim, you'll know the simple, powerful question you need to ask.